Acts 2 and 20. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before that great and notable day of the Lord come. I want to start by saying all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty. The hopeful elect and constantly enduring. I want to say Shalom. Now, what you're looking at is the moon on the 4th of July or Independence Day. Now, what's so heavy about this is that when you see this, it's basically a blood moon and it's the signs of the times. And the thing is, people really don't notice it or take the time to acknowledge it because they're too busy in folly or in mirth. Independence Day is basically a day off or a so-called holiday, a day of celebration, and basically people just shoot fireworks and get drunk and throw barbecues and have fun. It's a day of mirth. But while they're doing all these things, it's a lot going on. All right, now you see the signs, the blood moons in the sky, and we live in a time of war, time of pestilence, times of famine. All right, and anything could happen at this point. So it's heavy, that brothers picked this up. Brothers picked up on this, and brothers understand the fear of what's to come. But here it is, you have 2/3 of our own people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are too busy caught up in folly to notice the signs that's right in front of you. Acts 2:16. But this is that which was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the Most High, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. So Joel prophesied of the times to come, which Peter and the apostles were living in the last days at that point. But now we're at the end of the last days. And it says, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And we're seeing this. How are we seeing this? Because we have the men of the Lord out there in the highways and byways prophesying. But then you might have other people that might have dreams or visions, and they might speak their dreams, might not understand it, but they might speak it, and then it'll get back to the prophets, and the dreams will be prophetic. And that could be men or women having those dreams. Acts 2:18. And on my servants and on my handmaids I will pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I will show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath. So the Lord's going to show wonders and signs. Blood and fire, vapor of smoke. And that's going into what? Ultimately, those nukes being shot off. All right? But this is going into wars. All right? Wars are happening. And ultimately, what's going to happen is it's going to lead to the ultimate war, the Third World War, which is going to end with nuclear fire. It says, Acts 2:20, the sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before that great and notable day of the Lord come. And that's going into those solar and lunar eclipse. And what you saw with the moon being red, that blood moon, that would have had to been a lunar eclipse. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. So that name is important, okay? Now the elect is calling upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the most high, or Yahweh meaning he is, Ba'ashem in the name, right, of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai meaning he is the deliverer. in the name, because Yahushua is the mediator between man and the Most High. And he says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name, which the name is important, of the Lord shall be saved. So the men of the Lord and the elect, sighing and crying, the elect is constantly enduring, is calling upon the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because we see, we're on part of that number. We see what's coming. We see what's coming down the pipe. It says, Luke 21:25, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. And you see the signs. All right, we just spoke about the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, and you're going to see chariots. All right, the chariots, or the so-called UFOs, which are the vehicles for the angels. All right, those are the chariots of the Heavenly Father. And upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity. These nations going to be in a state of distress, not knowing if they're going to go to war or if there's going to be a nuclear war. There's going to be a draft. Will they lose business with other nations, with imports and exports, right? Because once you go to war, like for example, if America goes to war with China, then China will stop doing business with America, which a lot of America's import comes from China. Okay, so that's gonna cause more inflation, and there's gonna be a lack of certain goods that the so-called United States citizen would be lacking, making life even harder. So it says, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, and ultimately that's going into that war. Okay, it says, Luke 21:26, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, right? Because the men, and I'm talking about the Israelite men, because the 2/3 of Israel follow these heathens, and these heathens aren't looking forward to Yahweh Shah coming back. All right, coming back the second time to lay waste to this place. Our people are looking at the things that are temporal. Okay, having a good time. It says, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Right, the elites, the ones that our people put their faith in, which are the elites, the ones that do everything, the international banking families and whatever, they're gonna be shaken. All right, why? Because their nation, their kingdom is coming to an end. It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So these are all signs of the time before ultimately Yahushua comes with, it says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud, which the cloud again, that's going into the chariots, with power and great glory. Okay, so these are all prophetic signs, and we're moving even closer and closer to the end times and to the times of deliverance and destruction. This is Luke 12:49. I am come to send fire on earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? So the Lord's coming to bring fire, and we see these chariots. What's going to happen is they're going to shoot those lasers upon this place. They're going to shoot that fire. Okay, but it says, "I am come to send fire on earth." So that's how fire is going to come upon this place, by way of those chariots, the chariots of the Heavenly Father and the angels, and also by way of those nuclear missiles. And what will I if it be already kindled? Because this place is going to be in a state of war, state of confusion. Okay, so this America is already going to be on fire. All right, the people are going to be doing whatever the hell they want to do. All right, you're going to have civil wars, class wars. All right, race wars. It's gonna be famines. Okay, and you're gonna have invasions and whatnot, drafts. You're gonna have the earthquakes in diverse places. You're gonna have pestilence, martial law. All these different things. That's how this place is gonna already be on fire. And on top of that, you're gonna have the Third World War. Okay, because it's not gonna go nuclear automatically. It's gonna go foot. It's gonna be a thing of soldiers and aircrafts and submarines and fighter jets, right? But then eventually it's gonna go nuclear. And it says, "And what will life it be already kindled?" All right. So all the death that's gonna pile up. Like if you watch World War I, World War II, you see all the different deaths. Okay. Civilian deaths along with military deaths. All right, and then the numbers are in the thousands, even the millions. So what's going to happen on top of that? What's going to happen when Yahushua return? Okay, so it's going to be a domino effect, and things are just going to pick up and get worse and worse. Okay. Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Now the prudent man is going to the elect men. Okay. Now the elect men see what's coming and hideth ourselves. And how's that? Isn't the scriptures known as the secret places? Okay, so that's all spiritual. Now, brothers took the day off. It was a so-called holiday. Brothers had the time off, and brothers got together and fellowship. Okay, but that don't mean that we took our eyes off what's coming, or we just forgot about it or slacked off. No, we still watching. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So you see, the simple, 2/3 of our people, they don't know what's going on. All right, they just want to party, get drunk, and do whatever folly it is. And that's their whole MO. That's their whole heritage. Okay, but the prudent man, Lord will, I'm a prudent man. We're gonna keep going according to the Spirit, according to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, so we don't get caught up in the destruction or the evils. Matthew 24:37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So in other words, it was a thing of mirth. All right, it was a thing of folly, marrying and giving into marriage. People are in a state of folly. Okay. Now, even now, being me in July, a lot of laws are being changed. A lot of bills are being passed. All right. And Esau ain't looking like that nice guy right now. Even coming down to the two-thirds of our people, Esau ain't looking like a nice guy. All right. Because he's taking away certain rights that helped 2/3 get ahead in this kingdom. I'm not gonna go into it right now. All right, but in other words, he's about to come down with the hammer. He's about to show himself as the wicked. It says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving into marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Now, when Esau comes down with the hammer, he brings in his new world order. It does what he have to do. All things have to happen before that new flood happens. Which that new flood is not going to be of water, but it's going to be a flood of fire. Okay? And knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. All right. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left. All right. So when the day of the Lord, you're gonna have some people that's gonna be delivered, because only a few. It's gonna be 144,000, along with the rest of the 1/3. That's a few people. That's a few people out of all the nations of Israel. Remember, we've been scattered abroad. Okay, but the Lord's going to choose and pick who He delivers. It's going to have the men, the government body, the 144,000. Then you're going to have the righteous men, and you're going to have the righteous women. Okay, but then you're going to have the other set that's going to be left, and they're going to be destroyed. Ecclesiastes 7:2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to their heart. The house of mourning is representing these scriptures. Why is that? Because we know that this is not our rest. We in captivity. All right. The house of feasting represents 2/3 of Israel, the wicked, the ones that are blinded from the truth. That's why they look forward to every little reason to party. They look forward to every so-called holiday, every day off, every payday, every Friday, every Saturday, because those are the times when they want to party and feast. Okay. Now those men, they won't see the evils. They're not gonna fear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, but they're just gonna be taken away. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. Okay, when you go through hard times, it builds tough skin. This is a well-known fact. Now, we apply this spiritually, okay? Because we go through a hard time for the Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai's sake, so that we will be delivered for enduring. It says, the heart, Ecclesiastes 7:4, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of the fool is in the house of mirth. The heart representing talking about the mind, your state of mind. The house or the mind of the wise is in the house of mourning. Yeah, we have mourning, man. We in captivity. We mourning this, being oppressed day in, day out, being slaughtered in the streets. Don't know if you're gonna make it home. Okay, being taxed. All sorts of things, man. All right. So it says, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. And we know who our enemy is. We know Esau's going to do what the hell he do. All right. And we know it. How we know it? Because we see the signs, you know, and we know it has to happen. So anyways, low wellness lessons edifying. You know, it's the spirit that brothers saw the moon, and it was red. That's the spirit. That's signs of the times, and it's happening in all days. It happened on a day of mirth, when people shooting in the skies, people looking up in the skies, but they won't notice the moon because they're noticing the fireworks. Well, the Lord's going to shoot his own fireworks, and that's by way of nuclear missiles. Once again, all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kwadash. Double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders, great millstone, and salutations to the Akim pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty, and to the brothers and sisters constantly enduring, the hopeful elect. Shalom.